All right, ladies, thank you so much for jumping on tonight. I'm so excited for this. I love Rachel so much. So, oh my gosh, a little bit about Rachel. As I actually gave all your stats in our team page because it's so freaking awesome. I wanted them to know. But Rachel's actually been a coach for a long time, longer than me, I think. Or no, you were after me, but you didn't start
Just
building.
right after,
Yeah. But she didn't start building till later, which I know she can tell you more about that. But a wife of 7 years and boy, mom of 2. Oh my God, they're so precious. I just want to eat them up. She has, like, I showed your transformation, so they see like how incredible, like, your physical transformation is just. And this is after 2 babies. Like, she is the proof that, you can still have abs and look fabulous even after kids. Yeah, it may be hard. I'm sure it is, but it is totally doable if you commit. So I know she's like the rock star of 2B mindset. I try to like follow her in that, but she's so good. So after 8 months of her corporate job, she left to be a full-time coach, which is just truly incredible. And even like, what she didn't share with me, but like I know from like Donnie losing his job, she was able to like carry her family through a hard time. Like, oh, it gives me chills just talking about it. Like, oh, it's so incredible what this program or this opportunity can do if you really just lean in. And she was so real and so vulnerable when she shared that story, that hard time with her family. Oh my gosh. And like, people surrounded her and loved her through it. And oh my gosh, I'm just so happy for her. But of course she is a full-time mom and business owner. So juggling the babies in the business type thing there, lifetime 2-star and an SC10 all-star legend, which again is incredible. That means a legend is over 24 months, so 2 years of hitting at least SC10 every single month as a coach. And I know she like usually crushes way beyond that, but like that's at a minimum that she does. Like, that's incredible. And she will earn over $100,000 like this year, probably like this month, because she's amazing. Oh my God, I'm so excited to have her on. Before I toss it over real quick, you guys, please make sure you're looking at your breaking news right now. This is like, so many things are going on right now. We have, 3 or 4 days left. February is the 1st, so you have to be on the Team Cup. Get your summit ticket if you don't, while they're $155. Like, there's so many things. Make sure you are taking advantage of the Transform 20 being on sale, the 2B Mindset being on sale, the 3-day refresh, because whether if you don't need it now, you will. Already have mine for after the cruise in March, because I was like, oh, it's on sale, So take advantage of all these things. But again, it's all in your back office, so be sure to check that out. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it. Oh my gosh. Am I still here? What the heck?
Are you there?
Oh my gosh, am I here?
Yes, okay, you're there.
Oh my gosh, I was like, no, it hasn't come off on me in so long.
Don't go before you share the screen.
Oh my gosh, I was like, I do have super sketchy service. Like, I'm bumming off a little jetpack, but I was like, oh my God, no. Like, what just happened?
You're good.
I was probably like froze in the worst face. So anyways, let me pass it over to Rachel. I'm super excited to hear what she has to say.
Awesome. Okay, I'm a presentation person. Okay, can y'all see this? Everybody see? Okay, I'm a presentation person primarily because I have a fear of public speaking, and which is kind of crazy that I lead team calls and like do live videos and all the things. Proof that you can overcome your fears. But presentations make me feel better because then you're not focused on my face. So my name is Rachel. I'm going to give you a super quick backstory, and then I'm going to get into the meat of the call because this is something I'm truly passionate about. And also as a coach feels very overwhelming because you kind of feel like you're searching for a diamond in the rough. You're looking for those magical people that are going to want to build a business with you. And in all honesty, particularly in those early seasons of business, it's going to feel a bit impossible. Like, are they actually out there? And I just want to share my heart with you because it is something that is out there. It just is a matter of how you share your life, how you approach your business, and I hope you can walk away with some practical tips to do that. So again, my name is Rachel. I am a lifetime 2-star. We technically have 3 diamonds in our downline, but they're not on the right leg and all the dang things. So, but I have just had the most incredible transformation emotionally and mentally as a coach. I know that it's pretty easy to look at the physical transformation and to see that, but I wish that you could see the heart change and the emotional change and the change in the relationships around me. I was someone who was insecure and timid. I did not believe in myself, that I was capable of doing things, and I just decided that I was going to do things even when I was scared, and that kind of became the magic push that started propelling my business forward. So I want to talk about attracting and building business builders. So I have, in the last year and a half, really found my tribe. Like the first year of my business, I had coaches that were wanting to work the business, but they weren't as passionate as I was. They really weren't my people. They're not people that I would necessarily go and hang out with on a Saturday night. And that was no fault of anybody's. That was just me learning who I was as a coach. But in the last year and a half, or the last 2 years, 1 year postpartum and then during my pregnancy, I've started to really hone in on what type of coach that I wanted to build a business with. And so I want to help you find your tribe, the ones that will run with you through the good and the bad and that aren't afraid of working to chase a dream. So this is my team. These are just a few. We've actually added a lot more faces since I created this presentation, but this represents to me a lot of families that were changed. So while there are coaches on this team, there are also families that were impacted. There were men who overcame diabetes. There are families who are eating vegetables for the first time. There's just a ripple effect that is present within this beautiful collage of faces. And not just that, but these are my friends. These are people that I want to spend my time with, that when I'm having a hard day that I'm going to turn to. So how do you attract business builders? For me personally, a lot of it boils down to mindset. And right from the get-go, I started my business by choosing the leadership mindset. I decided I was going to present myself as a leader, even if I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I actually shared a post in my team page today of 2 years ago today, and it was, I had screenshot my income for that week. I literally made in 2 weeks, I made $200. That is not much to most people, but to me it was everything. And I was sharing that as a leader. I was building a business even when I didn't feel like what I was sharing was valuable enough to share it. I did it anyways, but I had to believe that I was a leader and not a follower. So my upline, at the time was supportive, but I couldn't rely on my upline to give me the information to learn and grow as a leader. And I knew that if I wanted to run a successful business, and the top coaches were running their own challenge groups, the top coaches were running their own team pages, and the top coaches were doing these XYZ things, then I needed to present myself as a leader even before I was ready. So talking about my team and my business and my income and presenting that in a leadership first kind of presentation. But it begins with what you believe about yourself. If you believe that you're a leader, you're going to share as a leader. And if you believe that you're a follower, you don't believe that you're a good leader, you're going to step out and share in that way as well. And so you're only going to attract challengers. And so when you start to share as a business building coach, you're going to begin to attract people that want to build a business. These might be current clients who see you helping them and then want to pay it forward. But you have to be sharing it as a leader so that they know, oh, Christy's serious about building a business. I can rely on her to show up for me as my coach. The next thing would be when we don't believe that we have something to offer someone, they're going to perceive that. So when you're having conversations with people behind the scenes, whether it's about coaching or challenge packs or Shakeology, a lot of times our insecurities come from lack of knowledge. So for me, when I was having conversations with people about Shakeology and I was like, oh, it's a little, it's like $103. Do you want to buy it? That came from a place of I didn't know enough about Shakeology to realize it could transform their health. I'm talking to somebody who has cholesterol issues, who struggles with sugar cravings. Okay, but why? Why is Shakeology going to help those issues? And it was not my coach's job to explain that to me. It was my job to be an investigator and figure that out. But the more that I took the time to figure out that the things that I struggled with, if I struggled with invites, I watched a training a day on invites. If I struggled with a follow-up system, I watched a training a day on follow-up systems until I've conquered that area of my business. So like right now, you're going to watch this presentation and think Rachel has it all figured out. I still doubt my leadership skills. I've been here 2.5 years and I still doubt at times that I'm not a good enough leader. I'm so passionate about helping my team succeed. And if they don't reach their goals, it's easy to internalize it as me being a bad leader. But if I'm consistently working on my personal growth, I'm going to grow into the leader that they need. They didn't sign up with me because I'm perfect. They signed up with me for me. They chose me as their coach because they believe in me. And so y'all have to remember that when your clients choose you and coaches choose you, they choose you. They're not choosing Beachbody. They're choosing you to help them. And that is the difference. But when you don't believe that you have something to offer them, including your value as a coach, they're going to perceive that. And it's just so much more than a challenge pack. The next thing is it doesn't have to come naturally for you to be great at it. I don't feel like I'm a natural born leader, but leading team calls is something I freaking love. And I was the girl so I was homeschooled. First of all, there's your first kind of like, okay, well, she's kind of socially inept. She can't communicate with people because she's a homeschooler. I was homeschooled for 13 years. My only ever spelling bee that I went to, yes, they have homeschool spelling bees. The only homeschool spelling bee that I went to, I got the first word wrong. You know what I did? I ran out of there crying because I was so afraid of talking to people. Had I let my fear of speaking in front of people hold me back from this business, man, that would have really sucked. So I was not naturally good at leading team calls when I started. You have to be willing to work on the areas that you know that you struggle and overcome that. If you're afraid of putting your face in front of the camera on Instagram stories, I'm sorry, you need to get over it and you need to do it because you're never going to get better at it until you actually try. And that goes for every area of your business. The last thing on mindset would be, do you truly believe that what we stand for as coaches, do you believe in our mission as a Team Beachbody coach? Do you believe in what you have to offer that can change someone else's life? Are you asking people to shove a bunch of pills down their throat and wrap their body in saran wrap and pray for a magic fix? No, you are truly offering them a sustainable lifestyle change that can transform their entire life and their family's life. And that is something to be bold about, to be unapologetic in the fact that you are not telling them that they're going to drink this magic coffee juice and lose all the weight that they want. That's not how real life works. And so be bold in what you stand for as a coach. Beachbody has been around for years, and we're going to be around for decades to come because you know what? We focus on health, fitness, nutrition, and accountability and support, which is the missing link for most people. And so believing in what you stand for is going to put you in that leadership mindset, and people are going to be attracted to that confidence, even if you've got to fake it a little bit until you make it. The next thing, speaking of confidence is truly crucial. In your conversations, be the guide. Take charge and lead them to where you want the end results to be. This means that when someone tells you, oh, I want to lose weight, or I really like brownies, have such a strong sweet tooth. Oh, girl, me too. Don't respond with that. You end it with a question. Me too. What have you found that's helped you? Or lead and guide that conversation. That goes for coaching as well. Be the guide on your page. If you're getting objections behind the scenes, you post that crap on your page. Give it a couple of days so the person doesn't know that you're talking about them. Make a note on your phone, but then come back and talk about that objection because it's your job to be the guide in your conversations, both on your page and behind the scenes. Be knowledgeable. When you don't know what you're talking about, they will perceive that uncertainty. We talked about that a few minutes ago. Don't be afraid to say, I'm not quite sure the answer to that question. If you'll give me a couple hours, I'll get back to you and I'll make sure that I have the correct answer for you. People are going to respect that. They're not going to think anything of you for doing that. Personal development in the confidence arena is literally life-changing. And I was totally your personal development hater up until 2 years ago. Was it 2 years? Really the last year and a half. Since I had my last couple months of pregnancy and then my entire year postpartum with my second son, I was in the trenches of motherhood and depression and anxiety and postpartum depression and all the things. And personal development was one of the lifelines that totally transformed my life. And if you don't believe it, then I will encourage you to find the personal development that's a good fit for you. What works for me may not work for Christy. What works for Christy may not work for you guys. She's going to share what clicks with her. And for me, I always have a personal, life book that I'm reading for personal development. And then I have a business one because I want to grow in both areas. And when I don't have something to talk about on my page, 10 out of 10 times is because I'm not doing my personal development because I feel uninspired. I feel unmotivated and I don't want to talk about it. And so when I'm doing my personal development, I'm overcoming that kind of mental and confidence struggle that I experience. Okay, so the next thing that I want to share with you guys is that it's important to share on your page to attract. Okay, if you don't share that there's a business side of things, you're not going to build a business. And this was something I didn't understand in the beginning, but all I knew was that I was watching all the successful coaches and they were sharing that there was a business that people could join them for. And I knew if I wanted to build a business, I needed to start sharing that there was a business that people could join in on. So here are some tips and tricks on how to do that. I primarily recruit from my challenge groups. I am not opposed to recruiting directly, but it comes more naturally to me to recruit from my challenge groups using social media. That is also why my Success Club goals every single month are so high, because I know that if I can fill my challenge groups and provide a kick butt challenge group experience with large Success Club numbers, then my odds of finding a business builder coach that loves the community and wants to give back is that much bigger. So recruiting from my challenge groups using social media, the people that are going to be liking and commenting on your posts, probably 50% of them are going to be your clientele or your soon-to-be clientele. And so they're watching your posts, and if you start talking about a sneak peek, I'm sure that Christy provides coach sneak peeks for the team to be a part of. Utilize that. Get on board with that and help her in those coach sneak peeks, because that's an opportunity for you to talk about it on your page. People will want to join that were totally not on your radar, and they may make the most magical coaches that you never would have invited had you not shared it on your page. Do not be afraid of sharing the hustle. If you paint a picture that this is an easy business, you're going to attract people that are wanting a quick buck. The truth is this is not an easy business. It's a compound business where the longer you're consistent, the higher the rewards will be in time. But you have to put your head down and be willing to work consistently before that kind of shift in your business happens. And so for me, I've been in the business 3 years. The first year was hardcore hustle. I'm talking head down, no fun in life. Like, I was focused. I wanted to be home with my babies. I had a strong line. The second year, I was building on that, but I was still kind of a little bit lost as to what my story was now as a new stay-at-home mom. In year 3, being newly postpartum with 2 babies, I can tell you that I am painting the picture of hustle. They need to know that I am fitting it into my day and I am not sacrificing my goals just because I now have 2 kids. But I want to share all of that because I want people who are willing to work hard too. If they want to come along and send out 3 invites and then get butt hurt when they don't hit Success Club, that's not the kind of tribe that I want to attract. I want somebody who are going to be willing to sacrifice and have some thick skin. So that's a huge deal to me. So making sure that you share that on your page, share it on your Insta stories, talk about how you maximize your time on your lunch break, talk about how you listen to a podcast for personal development on your commute to work, talk about staying up late. You sacrificed and you stayed up late to work your business after a long day because you have goals and dreams. So be willing to share that. Finding ways to share in the snippets is part of that. share the emotional, not just the financial. It's very easy to look at other coaches and say, well, I don't have a financial transformation like Christy does. I don't have a financial story like Rachel does. You know what? I didn't either. When I started my business, I didn't either. But you know what I did have? Had a lot of heart, and I had a lot of work ethic, and I was willing to share as I built that business over the last 3 years. Do you know the people who started following me from day one are only just now joining me? Like the number of messages I've had in the last week, they're like, okay, I've been watching you for over 2 years. People just have to watch, and that's that compound effect. But I also shared the emotional, like, why do you love the team that you're on? Why do the challenge groups matter? And why is that community and accountability key? What has changed in your relationships where you're a more patient mom, where you're a more attentive spouse, where you're a more passionate person because you feel alive because of coaching? Share that side of it too, and don't put yourself in just a financial box, because people don't just want the financial side of things. I've attracted a lot of stay-at-home moms who didn't realize that they wanted to build a business, that didn't realize that they were missing that, but they were attracted to the community first, and then the financial came after. And then the last thing on the tips and tricks is post a call to action at least once a week and invite behind the scenes using your challenge group as your first step forum of inviting. So you have to share that there's an opportunity for people to join you both in your challenge groups and the business on your page. And sometimes you have to be kind of blatant about it and say, I am accepting 2 new coaches. I have 3 spots left in my boot camp, and posting that call to action every single week so that people know you are constantly working behind the scenes to provide an amazing experience both as a coach and as a client. So here's just kind of a couple wrap-up things. So practice makes perfect. Being willing to fail forward, take the jump, and learn how to fly on the way down. You're not going to know what you're doing as a coach. There will never, if you come to a season of your business where you know what you're doing all the time, there is something wrong. You have fallen into a rut of complacency. There has never been a season of my business where I felt like I knew it all. I still don't have a clue what I'm doing, and I'm just being willing to fail forward every single day. So for example, I think this might be on here, but for example, I am running a free group with my team right now. I created these awesome, pretty graphics for my team to share. I even helped them with the wording. I was like, this is going to be awesome. I've made it so easy. We all posted them. No one joined. No one cared. Not one person. No one joined our free group. And I was like, shift gears. Okay, that didn't work. So we don't know what we're doing. We're just willing to take the jump and learn how to fly on the way down. If you stay, so this is a trap that a lot of coaches fall victim to. If you stay in the realm of planning and thinking and learning, you're going to lose momentum and opportunity. So it's super easy to listen to the National Wake Up Call and be like, oh, Emily Faber, she's so great. That's a great ideas. That's so good. And start thinking, I'm going to plan out how I'm going to implement that. Life gets busy and you don't ever take action. You have to actually take action while you're feeling that momentum. You don't wait and talk about team call and how you feel right now until tomorrow morning. You get off this call, you talk about how it fired you up, and then you share it right after the call, because you're going to lose momentum and opportunity, and you're not going to remember how you feel right now. So sharing in the moment. Use every opportunity to learn and grow, but be willing to self-reflect and fine-tune areas that you can improve. Like I just said with that free group, it didn't work. So you know what we did? We all made our own pictures. We deleted our original post, made our own pictures, and then got to inviting our face off to fill that free group. And you know what? It is our biggest free group to date. A week ago, it was a giant flop. Now it is our biggest free group to date because we adjusted course, figured out what was and wasn't working, and decided to grow together as a team. And on the flip side of that, don't crucify yourself if you think something fails. So it's super easy, really easy to get caught up in the, oh, I didn't rank advance to diamond by my birthday like I said I was going to. I am a failure. I suck at coaching. Or it's easy to think, oh, no one wanted to join my boot camp this month. I suck. I'm a terrible coach. The only failure in my book is not trying. And so when you crucify yourself and you start believing that you're not good enough, that you're bad at this, you're going to internalize that. It's going to start overshadowing your mind with doubt. And all that's going to do is self-sabotage everything you've worked so hard up until this date for. You can't give up on the first try. Not challenge groups, not free groups, not social media call to actions, not tracking your business. Chris is probably going to laugh at me because I have not tracked my business until this year. Listen, we all have room to grow, but you can't give up on that learning opportunity on the first try. If your first challenge group is a total flop, okay, if you follow the scripts on the back office, maybe that didn't jive with your people. Maybe you need to think outside the box and do something self-love focused, or maybe your people love the crock pot and that's your jam. You just have to be willing to not give up on the first try of every single thing. Fake it until you make it. Run team calls with a friend. Ask Christy to help lead team calls. Create a team page. Even if you have no one in it, you begin to think like a leader. And I say this because I did this wrong, okay? I did not do this. And I look back and I wish I had. In my business, I was super insecure about my leadership capacity, and I did not want to break off on my own. I was a part of our upline team for a really long time, and I actually helped lead stuff in our upline team for a really long time, but it became a crutch because I was never required to do anything on my own with just my team. So I wasn't leading team calls by myself. I didn't have my own team page. I didn't have a team name until like a year and a half ago. And so I would encourage you that you may not have a single person on your team right now, but you need to create a team page, pick your team name, and start thinking like a leader if you want to attract leaders. And go. Start trying things and faking it until you make it. Last thing, one more thing, I'm going to wrap up. So I do want, with all of this, I want to remind you that it starts with the heart. All of us most likely were attracted to this business because of the heart and integrity that this company and this community has to offer. Don't overcomplicate the process of building a business. You love on people. You sign up new clients. You get them results. You turn them into coaches. And that is the magic solution. Maybe you recruit directly off your page as well. But for me, my lifers are the people that I loved on. I was committed to supporting them. I showed up for them every single day, and then I turned them into coaches. But part of that was being deeply connected to my why. So, and that is something that has changed. Every year it has changed. When I first was a coach, my why was like, head down, get me home to my baby. When I got home, I was kind of like, well, now what? What are my goals in my business now? I don't really know what I'm doing now. My why became financial freedom. Then when my husband lost his job, my why turned into, I want to step up as a financial provider so that my husband can pursue his life's passion. It became, he no longer has to sit in a 9-to-5 job that he hates, looking at a computer screen all day long. Now he can be in ministry, and he can be a pastor again, and he can do what he loves, what God has called him to do. And because of my business and my commitment over the last 3 years financially, our family can make that happen. Whereas 2-3 years ago, that was not our reality. So being deeply connected to why you are a coach and sharing that often on your page and with those that you love. The people that are going to need to come alongside you in this vision need to know why you're doing this. I have always been very clear with my husband about why this mattered to me, what it gave to me, and communicating that with him constantly so that we were always on the same page when it came to my business. And so sharing that with him and sharing that on my page. Beachbody's values don't align with greedy people. So being heart-focused, willing to hustle, and willing to make short-term sacrifices for long-term rewards. Okay, I'm going to say that again because I don't want that to be like, oh, I want you to really hear that. Being willing to make short-term sacrifices for long-term rewards will attract your lifers. If I had not hustled in that first 8 months of my business, I never would have been where I am now, because I was willing to make those short-term sacrifices so that long-term I can have the success that I want. And that vision has changed. I get to take my kids to Disney World in the next couple of weeks because of all of the hard work of the last 3 years, but it took sacrifice. It was not easy. If you look at somebody who has high success club numbers, it's not because they're magic. It's because they're willing to do twice the amount of work than most coaches are. So show that hustle, make those short-term sacrifices for those long-term rewards. And with that, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was built daily. So be consistent in your business, be consistent in your power hours, be consistent in showing up on your page every single day, be consistent in inviting, and over time that compound effect is going to come. The more that you focus on your belief in yourself and what you have to offer people. So, friends, your tribe is waiting for you to be brave. So much of coaching is letting your fears hold you captive to what your future could be. So I'm going to challenge you tonight to do something that scares the pants off you. I want you to go invite one person that scares you, or I want you to post one thing that scares you. Be bold and be brave, because these faces are some of my best friends, because I was willing to share my story with integrity and heart and be brave even when I was scared to death. Okay, so that's your challenge, to be brave tonight, tomorrow, and the rest of this week in your business. So that's all I've got for tonight, Christy.
Yeah, oh my gosh, so good. And that's so exciting that y'all are going to Disney. Oh my gosh, I love that. And it like clicked. I don't know if you heard this before, and you maybe even did this with your kids, but like when you have that big plan and that vision and you know it's going to require sacrifice, you include your spouse, your family, your kids. And so you have that big goal in mind and say it's for your kids, like, hey, mama's got to do this now, and share that vision with them that, hey, we're going to Disney or we're going on a trip, because guess what? There's no backing out now. You've told your kids the last thing you want to do is let your family down. So like include them in your plan. Let me see what the chat says.
I will add to that, in communicating with them, be someone that upholds your promises. And I say that because it's very easy to find an imbalance with coaching and personal life. And a lot of that has to do with not being focused and organized in your business. I fall victim to this all the time. And not being committed to your business hours. So even in recent months, I've had to really analyze, I have to be unplugged between XYZ time so that I can be laser focused during this hour, or I can be laser focused during this nap time, but I gotta have my ish together so that when they do go down for a nap, I know what it is that I'm focusing on. So be willing to honor that commitment to your family by when you're working, and when you're not working, you're present with them. So just some experience there.
Yeah, me at 4.5 years, I'm still learning that.
Yeah, it's always
I'm in that workaholic mode, and Jordan will be like, Christy, and he'll like literally grab my phone and chunk it. So it is, because you have to include your family, or else, because if they hate the business, it's not going to be good. So you have to separate that time. And like Rachel said, I'm still working on it myself. So do y'all have any questions? Oh my God, so good. Because I know they won't say it, but I know so many of our team, like we have a lot of new coaches, and they deal with like being uncomfortable on camera, and you know, they've got to grow in that confidence. And like she said, it's going to take showing up, failing forward, just screwing up, falling on your face every single day. Because I still do it, and I'm like, oh my God. But you just have to keep going. You know, that's what people like, though. They don't want the polished perfection. They want the hot mess express. I promise you.
Just go watch my Insta stories from today. Okay, that's all you have to do. Just go watch it, because me and Shanti were about to come to blows today during Transform 20. I would love to hear, because I've got a few minutes before my team call. What is your biggest fear or biggest struggle in your business? Because I can guarantee you I've walked through that. I would love to help, because Chrissy's awesome. She's like a kick butt coach, but sometimes you have to hear it from somebody else. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, we actually talked about this last week, so I want to like rehear them. Like we made them like share their fears.
I love that.
Was like rejection and stuff like that, the unknown. But yeah, throw them out there. Type, text, whatever. I muted you, but you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Anybody willing to share? Or even if it, as it pertains to building a business and, figuring out who your tribe is. It's hard to figure out what to say. That's an art of conversation. Wouldn't you say, Christy, that is a skill you have to learn over and over?
Victoria literally just became a coach last week, and I made her do her coming out post last night. And girl, you talking about you don't know what to say? You polished that post. That was curiosity marketing at its finest. The girl got, and I didn't even check later, it was like over 60 likes. So I don't want to hear that crap. That's
okay. So all that is lack of belief in oneself. So I want to know that you're doing personal development, because clearly you have a knack for it. So you have to let it flow, girlfriend. Let it flow.
Okay. And I mean in terms of like what to say to people. So they're like, hey, tell me more. And I'm like, it's in the post. Go ahead and read that again.
Christy, do you have that 100 questions thing that Nate used to have?
Yeah, it's probably like in our files from like 5 years ago, but it's probably
really helpful. That was really helpful as a new coach, because it literally just gives you a list of question prompts that you can begin to dive into the conversation. So they're like, hey, and because the second question they're going to ask is, how much does it cost? You're going to be like, okay, here's a little bit about it. Well, how much does it cost? And how do you navigate around that? Because that tends to be what happens a lot. Personally, for me, I usually like to say, I would love to give you specific details on pricing, but I don't recommend just a one-size-fits-all package. Let me hear a little bit more about your goals. That way I can make a recommendation that fits you and your needs first. Share with me a little bit about what you'd like to achieve this year. Then they're going to come back and they're going to say something. Then ask, what is your biggest struggle, or what have you tried in the past that has or hasn't worked? Those kinds of questions are going to give you a lot of information about the person. Asking them, do you struggle more with nutrition or fitness? I literally just ask about a million questions until I feel like, and I wrap it up by saying, I have a really good idea of what you're wanting to accomplish. May I make a recommendation, include pricing, so you can review it and decide if this is a good fit for you? You're not putting pressure on them. You're literally just saying, hey, here's the information, and then do your due diligence and follow up with them if they ghost you. Because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like she said, you're answering a question with a question. So you're not just throwing up with them on the beginning, sharing all the pricing information without first letting them understand the value in it. So like one of my favorite questions is, if they're wanting to lose weight or wanting to be healthy or feel better, really, we all know 80% of it comes back to nutrition. So I'm going to ask them, what does a typical day look like for everything you eat and drink? And for one, if they answer that question, I know it takes some time to either share what a typical day looks like. If they're not like, I ate cereal for breakfast. Like some of the people are really bland, but some people go, but you can use that as a foundation. So when they do use that pricing objection, you'll be like, well, actually, you can take it back to Starbucks. And you can actually save money if you replaced it with some of that crap that you're currently eating now, So when you circle back and go, I really didn't think of it like that. So when you break it down, the price and stuff. And again, y'all know I'm all about, and I know Rachel, I think, does this a lot now too, but like audio and voice and sharing and breaking it down that way too. So you're not like sending these long messages that they're like, oh crap, but you're explaining it. They can hear and understand the passion better.
And now that Instagram has voice memos too, it's life-changing.
Yes, life for sure. I do have a question, Rachel, while they're like thinking of other fears and stuff that they're about to chat in the box over there. You said you do your call to actions. Are you just talking for your challengers? Are you talking about on your page and then they're coming to it? Or are you like when you have a sneak peek coming up, do you share about it? Because I try to do this sometimes without being like, coaching all in your face. But like I'm not getting, when I talk about it in the challenge group with coaching, it doesn't get much. So I was just curious if you talked about it in your group.
I don't share it in my challenge groups at all. We have a challenge group page, and then we have a client resource page. So it's basically where all of the clients from any coach on our team can be put in this group. And we put like recipes on there. We'll do like motivational pictures. There's no structure. It's just basically a forum for us to communicate with every client. So if we do like monthly get-togethers, things like that. So I will put it in there on occasion, but I usually put it up on my page, put my call to action up on my page, and then I will go behind the scenes within the next hour or so and look at the people who were a good fit in the challenge for the last 3 weeks. So whoever is plugging into your group every single day, that is your next coach. So I message them and I'm be like, girl, not only are you getting kick butt results, but you are a natural encourager. Do you have any idea how you are already coaching within this group? Did you see my post? I would love for you to be my guest at the sneak peek. So that's kind of the approach that I usually will take with that.
I love that. That's good.
And any others? I won't put anybody on the spot, but.
Oh, it's okay.
Christy and I are very similar in a lot of ways, but we're also very different. She's definitely more like forward and to the point, which I respect.
Yeah, because I love how you talk about, like, and I know you've always been that way, like you focus on your challengers first to get those kick butt results. But like me, a switch came over me like in December or January, and I'm all coaching, all things coaching in your freaking face. I'm going to talk about my workouts and my stories, but I'm tired of just having discount coaches and like people who are wanting health and fitness. Yeah, that's important, but that's just skimming the surface. Like I want people who want to freaking chase their life. So that's what I'm going to talk about.
I love that. I love that. So let me give an example. So I have a new coach on my team. She's literally not even 2 months new, like literally brand spanking new. She has been my social media friend for, how old is Aiden? 3.5 years. And I have invited her on 4 different occasions over the last 3.5 years, and she turned me down every single time. She came to me in January or in December and said, Rachel, I want to start and do Transform 20. Oh, and I'm going to sign up as a coach too, and I'm going to build a business. Guess what? Home Size has hit SC10 in months 1 and months 2 and already hit Emerald. She was not on my radar. And so that's an example of someone who did not come directly out of she had to learn what a challenge group is. But it's that consistency from 3.5 years. She watched and she was like, okay, well, I guess Rachel's not going away after 3.5 years. Come on. Why don't people just sign up sooner?
Hey, but good things take time, you know? That's
she was worth the wait. I'll tell you that.
For sure. That's awesome. Exciting. Does anybody else have anything before we jump off of here? I love it because I'm like you too, Rachel. Like I was like, I'm not even getting on calls when I started. Major introvert, like makes me want to break out in hives. Just thinking like I was so like I hate
red on them.
my diva light makes me hot anyway, so I'm like, oh my god.
Y'all are awesome. Thank you for showing up on the call. Seriously, like the fact that you committed to your business tonight to show up on the call. Now utilize what you've learned and be brave, okay? Don't just listen and then seep it in. I want you to actually apply it when you leave here tonight.